I'll never forget the first time I pottied him. He was maybe like a few days old or a week old or something. And I held him over the potty and I totally forgot about like male anatomy. And he peed all over the place, like all over the walls. I was trying to also manage his head. And I was like, okay, so like we're doing it, but like maybe let me wait a little more till his, like, let me figure out how to like manage all of
Yeah,
this.
yeah. Welcome to the Diaper Free Diaries podcast, the podcast for parents on the journey to ditching the diaper and potty independence. From newborns to toddlers, we discuss all things you need to know to get your child out of diapers years before Big Diaper wants them gone. I'm your host, Lauren Stamper. Today, I'm joined by Blair, a fellow mom I connected with on Instagram. We instantly clicked and could have talked for hours about all things elimination communication and motherhood. If you're new here and hear the term EC tossed around, it stands for elimination communication. In other words, learning your baby's signals for when they need to go potty. Join us as we dive into Blair's journey, share practical tips, and explore how ditching diapers can transform family life.
My name is Blair. I'm an occupational therapist and I specialize with maternal health, which also includes infant development with birth to 3. And I also am a mom of 2. My son is 3.5. My daughter is 15 months, so a little over 1. And I am currently pregnant with our 3rd.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah,
That's
thank
great.
you.
Yeah. You have shared on your Instagram channel that you do EC. So can you share a little bit about why did you decide to start, or what kind of prompted you to start? And I guess with which child, did you start from the very beginning?
Yeah. So with our son during that pregnancy, I did a lot of research just in general for very like green products, environmentally friendly products. We really tried to find things that were less to have like as least waste as possible and also things that were going to be very multi-purpose. So while I was searching for pottying things, so like different cloth diaper brands and different ways to manage all of that, I stumbled upon a blog and it was talking about elimination communication. And this was my first pregnancy. So I started reading about it. And my husband honestly was like, I mean, hey, like if you're going to take the lead and you'll show me, like he was so on board. And a lot of people, when I told them about this, I was like, guys, this is cool. Have you heard about it? Nobody had heard about it.
No.
Um, People were like, yeah, but like, is Corey going to do it too? And he'd be like, yeah, like if Blair will take the lead, like, and same with cloth diapers. They were like, but are you guys really going to do that? We were like, yeah, we'll just kind of follow our kids' lead and like see what happens. So originally when I found out about it, it was through some sort of crunchier blog that I thought it was fascinating. And my thought was if we're going to do cloth diapering, that was our goal with our son, then why not put him on the potty during transition time? And if he's showing us that he's squeezing, like, why not? And then we save a diaper. It's good for his hygiene. Like, it just made sense to me. And I think also before becoming a mom, you see different parenting things and maybe you have your own, not in a harsh way, but like judgments of like, oh, that kid's in the corner squeezing. Like, oh, I wish I could help them be more comfortable and I could help them potty more comfortably and like healthier for them. So I just was always thinking like, okay, so that would be a situation
Mhm.
that we would bring them to the bathroom. So I was already kind of thinking about that. And with our son, I was very excited to start from birth. I had done all the research and watched all the videos. And then honestly, well, we didn't know if we were having a boy or girl. So I'll never forget the first time I pottied him. He was maybe like a few days old or a week old or something. And I held him over the potty and I totally forgot about like male anatomy. And he peed all over the place, like all over the walls. I was trying to also manage his head. And I was like, okay, so like we're doing it, but like maybe let me wait a little more till his, like, let me figure out how to like manage all of
Yeah,
this.
yeah.
Yeah. So with my son, we did it on and off from the time he was like born until
Mhm.
2-ish months, and then consistently from 2 months on.
Mhm.
Just for that reasoning, I was like, this is a lot to manage.
Yeah, right. A lot of maneuvering. And
Yes.
it's funny because I remember reading a lot of the Go Diaper Free stuff, and it's like, you have to aim. And I know that Andrew has mentioned like, use your pinky or a finger to like aim the penis.
Mhm.
But like in my mind, I think postpartum brain, I just thought you have to like aim the whole child. And so I was
I
trying to
would do that. I would
aim
be like,
for, like
oh.
I
It
think
was
that
just such a mess. It was so hard. With my daughter, it was so much easier. I was like, wow. Even now, like when I put her on the potty, I can like move away. And we have the splash guard, but it's
yeah.
it's just really different. So I think that's kind of why overall my mindset I've adopted with it is it doesn't have to be all or nothing. You
Mhm.
can do as much or as little as you want. The more you do, the more your child obviously will be, more accustomed to that routine. But with him, I was like, oh, like, and I went back and looked at all of Andrea's stuff. I'm like, how can I hold it? And I tried that. I would like put my finger and then his head would kind of flop. And I was like, oh my God. And that was the first time mom. So I was nervous about like his head. Now I'm like, oh, the next one's a boy. I think we could do it sooner and I would figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah, like with boys you have to aim, and then with girls, you don't have to. And so it's
Yeah,
that's
it's
interesting.
so different. I think also with public pottying, that's something I've learned that with my son, I would obviously have to have him aim. And sometimes I would even just like hold him over the potty. So he
Mhm.
would just like aim down. But then obviously, if there's a surprise poop, you have to flip him over. But with
Right.
my daughter, it's been so much easier to potty her anywhere. Like we've done airplane potties, we've done public potties, like we've done it all.
Yeah.
And it's just easier. You sit them down and it's like, you just have to hold them. Like
Yeah.
it's very different.
What age did you start with your first, did you say?
So with my first, it was probably like 2 months.
Okay.
And with him, it was way more consistent, like than it was with my daughter. So
Yeah.
my daughter, we started earlier. I don't remember, but around that time, like 1, 2 months. And, before that, anytime we would go into bath or I would change her diaper, I'd put her on the potty. So those like easy catches transition times,
Yeah.
especially after nursing, like with babies, it's so reflexive that they nurse and they usually go, if not at the same time, like right after.
Right.
That was kind of an easy catch. And any catch I would make, I'm like, even if it's a dribble, it's less fluid that's like on her skin. So
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
anything's a win.
Yes.
And with her, we actually took a break. When was it? Oh gosh, I don't remember. When she was really, really little, there was a time period of just like adjusting with toddler and baby, and I was home alone. And I didn't do it as much as I wanted to, probably for like a month or so. And then I've actually been more consistent with her than I even was with him.
Mm.
And her signs have been so much clearer and she's like
Wow.
way more obvious and probably like so she's 15 months. It was probably like around 12 months that
Yeah.
she started crawling to me and she would go like pop, 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 pop. And then I'd bring her to the potty and she'd poop and I was like, this is cool. So with her, it's like we still use cloth, but we actually ended up with her using a little bit more of disposable diapers because we're not using as many. So
Sure.
like we're
Uh,
doing more catches. So I'm like, well, if we're out and it's like
mhm.
easier for me to just put the disposable on.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like interesting the combo of how it's just different for her.
Yeah, that's always such a good feeling of when like you've been doing something for so long and then you finally get like a signal back of just
Yeah. It's
like
so
done all
helpful.
this work. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
helpful. And then other times she'll be playing and she'll like turn around, lock eyes with me, and then she'll like kind of start squeezing, but she'll stop and she like always kicks her legs. We
Yeah.
like go over to the potty, she kicks, 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 and then she goes and she'll just like be smiling. And I'll ask her, are you done? She shakes her head.
That is so
So
cute.
it's really funny. And she knows when she sits, we read books and stuff. So one of my friends was like, oh, well, how do you know if she's just like trying to sit and read books? I'm like, well, she's still really young, but also that's okay.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
then I'll probably make another catch. And if she's uncomfortable, she'll get up.
Yeah, our oldest is now 2.5. There's a time when like, we would do a book every time we went on the potty. And, at first it was just kind of like to kind of entertain him a little bit and just, I mean, he like very rarely gave me any resistance anyway, but then he would like want to go on the potty, so we would read a book and we're like, what would you like we can sit on the couch and read a book. You don't have to like sit on the potty to read a book.
There's more comfortable seating options.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
That's so
Um,
funny.
Hey y'all, it's Lauren here, popping in for a quick moment. If this conversation is inspiring you to start EC with your 0 to 18-month-old, the absolute best resource to guide you is the Go Diaper Free book. It's packed with everything you need to confidently begin EC and can be found at godiaperfree.com. Be sure to use coupon code STAMPER at checkout for 15% off your purchase. That's STAM as in mom, PER. Now, let's get back to the conversation. So then, like, what if you could you could pick any kind of age range, but like what did a typical day look like for you? You said you did transition time, so like before and after the bath. Is that kind of the main, say, like easy catch that you would do just like before and after, like going somewhere, coming back, things like that?
Yeah, I think transition times definitely are so helpful. And even transition times from like if we're playing in this room and then we go into the other space, I'm like, oh, let's just sit on the potty and try a little bit. But with our daughter, especially, she was in her routine has changed a little bit, like her schedule of when she would go to the bathroom. But she, for a while, it was every morning. So every morning I would wake her up, and before, I think it was before I nursed her, I'd put her on the potty and she would pee and poop. And then we would get ready for the day. Like she just had she was so consistent.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
now that's changed, but I usually know it's sometime in the morning.
Yeah.
So I'm like, all right, if we're getting ready for nap time and she hasn't gone, let's
Mhm.
like sit for a few minutes and try. And then if not, then like after nap too.
Yeah.
But I find the transition times like usually are changing them anyway in some respects, like their clothing or wiping their face. So like you
Right.
could do that stuff on the potty, like
Yeah.
just make it part of the day.
Yeah. It's like you're getting up and kind of doing a little bit of work anyway. And yeah, maybe like
Hmm.
change their diaper. And so if they're already like half naked, then might as well like give
Yeah,
them.
just have them sit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
I know you said like a lot of people, most people have never heard of EC before. So if you could like encourage someone by like what's something that you wish that other people knew about EC, like, and maybe something that could have helped you too.
Yeah, totally. I think at first when you read about it, it can seem intimidating of like it's another thing to do and already like the load of parenting is a lot. And I think that's what most people say is like, oh, that's cool you do that, but like I could never do
Hmm.
something extra. And I think what I would want parents to know is that it doesn't have to be all or nothing. So it can be just every morning you wake up and while they're brushing their teeth, they're sitting on the potty. So just like integrating it into their routine that way.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that also takes less, it takes pressure off of it. Like if there's a day that I miss something and she has a poopy diaper, I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
so we'll try next time. Like it's not a big deal. And then the other thing is that sorry, this is my dog. The
Yeah.
other thing is that as an OT, I also potting is such a big part of our daily like activities of daily living. So things that we do every day. So I would also kind of want people to think about that we teach our children dressing and bathing and grooming and all of these skills. And pottying usually, I think we're so programmed to potty at 2 and on.
Mhm.
So I just want people to kind of think about that as well. It's like, well, what if we started earlier? So pottying has less like intensity attached to it and maybe even like shame of like they're learning to go in their diaper and then they're unlearning it,
Right.
which is okay. I mean, the majority of people, they do it that way. But, what if there is another way that then brings your child more independence and more confidence and actually gives you less work, even though it's like seems a little more upfront. When we got to potty training with our son, he was so comfortable going on the potty. Like a lot of people say that that's usually the hardest part is having them be able to poop on the potty because it's like a weird sensation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So just those kinds of things of like, I just want people to think about it that way. And then also along that line, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It can be a balance.
For sure.
Yeah.
For
And
sure.
even from day to day, like there's some days we catch so much and she has a totally dry diaper. And
Mhm.
there's other days where we miss so much and we
Yeah.
end up putting on some like, diaper balm and it's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I think there was like a family that reached out recently to me on Instagram and said like we were so happy that you mentioned that, even starting like once a week. And
Hmm.
there's families that do that and still like then you try once a week and then you like get more comfortable with it and like okay, like let's, move from once a week to like, once a day, like in the morning, like the wake
Hmm.
up, or if parents work full time and can't do it all day. Other families, they can definitely do it first thing in the morning.
I
Yeah.
love that though. I think that's so important too, of like encouraging parents that just like you're saying, like it can be once a week or it can be once a day. And I think
Mhm.
that's why I also try to encourage my friends of like, I know it might sound different than what we're used to,
Mhm.
but like imagine if every morning, like my son goes in the bathroom, he goes to the bathroom, he brushes his teeth, and I just put my daughter on the potty next to him.
Yeah.
Like it just becomes part of your routine, just like
Hmm.
anything else is. So
Right, right.
yeah.
So much of it is just exposure. Even if you might have like a couple misses in a row, just like, oh, this is okay. It's like baby
Yes,
life.
it
Uh,
is. No, it is totally. And like just having them get comfortable sitting on the potty and understanding that like, oh, I can sit and go here. And like
yeah,
it feels good because then I'm not like wet or uncomfortable. And
right,
I think
right.
that's a big part of it too, is like the sensations and learning that routine.
Yeah, yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to add? I mean, feel free also to I'll share your Instagram handle if you wanted.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I love the Instagram thing it's been really interesting. I've been reflecting a lot on it lately. And it's a lot.
Yeah.
But if anyone wants to find me on Instagram, my handle's Birth and Balance OT. And my main goal in starting the Instagram was to really just help encourage and empower parents to find balance in parenting, and also just as I was hoping to be like or I am hoping to be like a one-stop shop if you want to come for some toddler support, some baby advice, and mostly just help support parents in their journey.
Yeah.
So as I've been on social media, it's kind of evolved to be really mostly maternal health support, and going along with that, it's the birth to three support, because you really can't separate the baby and the mom, especially in the beginning. We're like
Right.
so intertwined.
Yeah.
And I'm also a prenatal yoga teacher, so I like to share things about that, things to
Mhm.
support you physically throughout your day. And now that I'm pregnant with baby number three, you'll see a lot of pregnancy stuff and all that going into that birth experience.
I love it. There was one reel you did recently about when you're in the middle of laundry, you're taking like clothes out of the dryer and you just like take like one of your towels or blankets and just like wrap it over you. And I loved that. I'm like, yes, I would totally look forward to that. Taking a moment and just like
Hmm.
basking
Like
in the
literally
warmth of
wrapping yourself in warmth. Yeah.
yeah.
Because I think so many times, like when we're overstimulated, it's a pretty common thing that somebody like you like a hug. Like a hug is a very universal thing because it's that deep pressure and it's nurturing and it just feels really good to most people. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love that too. That with laundry, ever since I started doing that, I was like, I should probably share about this.
Yeah.
But just, in the chaos, we all have a moment to just stop and wrapping yourself in a big, heavy, warm blanket and just like taking that deep breath and just realizing and remembering like you're doing it, reminding yourself you're doing it.
Yeah.
Everything's okay. You're safe. You're loved. You're right where you should be.
Yeah.
Just kind of having that like grounding moment, I think is very powerful.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
Yeah, I love the laundry one. And today I'm going to share, I'm excited. This one was a funny one to film, but the finding stillness and calm and like a mindful moment in the process and the routine of getting your children to the car and like getting out for the day. So as I was filming, I'm like, this is hilarious. So you'll hear in the audio, I was like, you have one shoe, where's your shoe? We need your shoe. And then at the very end of the video, my son's like, I have to pee, I have to pee. So we're in the car and I was like, ugh, and we have to like go back inside. But I'm like, that's the reality of it. But there's always ways to find mindfulness. So you have to look out for that one coming today.
Yes. Can't wait. And
It's a
that's so
funny one.
relatable too. It's like half the, I wouldn't say battle, but like half the effort is like getting out the door and like across
Yeah.
that threshold. And
Oh
then of
my God.
course,
Yeah.
once you do, and then you have to go back in for
Yes. Always, always. And I feel like we get in the car and I always take a deep breath. I'm like, okay, both kids are in. We have the snacks. Like I think about everything.
yeah.
And usually before I'm even out the driveway, they're, both wanting to eat. And if I give my son, it's like, I'm like, you just had lunch. Or like today, I'm like, you just had breakfast. Like it's like automatic. So I think everyone can relate to that.
Yes.
It gets a little crazy.
Yeah. It's like you're not alone. It's like it's not just me. It's not just you. So
No,
yeah, it's very relatable.
no. And it's okay to find calm in the chaos and also to laugh about it, because some of the things are just like when he had to pee and we just got out, I was like, okay, we're going back in.
Blair, thank you so much for chatting with me about EC. This is a great
Yeah.
conversation. I'm excited to, yeah, keep following your journey and then have other people follow you as well. So thank you so
Yeah,
much.
thank you. This was really fun. Thanks for having me and chatting about this. I love talking about all this stuff.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this episode of Diaper Free Diaries. If you enjoyed this conversation, I'd love for you to leave a review and share the podcast with other parents who have a baby in diapers. Most parents who hear about EC are excited to give it a try, so let's spread the word. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss an episode. Until next time, happy pottying.